Today we're going to be doing a 5-tire rotation. We're going to talk about why you should do it, the proper way to do them, and the way I do them. So first things first, you should be carrying a full-size spare. Now, I know there's the argument of running a patch kit like a glue tread or something, or having a plug kit, or having both, which I have both and they work great. But the issue is those aren't going to help you if, you completely just shred a sidewall. Then you're just stuck with a flat tire that's shredded. So first things first, full-size spare. You should have one. The second thing I would say would be having your full-size spare somewhere that's easy to get to. I think tire swing outs are great. I understand that they put a lot of extra weight on the back end of your rig. I get that, but I don't like seeing them on the roof because it's kind of a pain in the butt to get them off, but you do what you do. I don't love them up underneath in the factory location for a few reasons. One being, this being a 35, it's not going to fit anyways. The second thing being, I don't want to have to crawl up underneath this thing, if I'm in some kind of weird spot in the rocks or in a mud hole or something. Maybe I can't even get it down if it's in a weird spot, right? So I like them right where I can get to it easily in just about any kind of scenario. Hey guys, I want to wish you all a very happy 4th of July, America 250. I hope you're out firing up the grill for some burgers and dogs, getting ready to watch fireworks tonight. I will say one thing, while you're out enjoying the 4th of July, I just want you to remember that God has blessed us to live in the greatest country in the world, and I don't know, if you don't agree with that for, whatever reason, I would say go spend some time in a third world country and see how bad it really could be, and see if that doesn't change your mind, right? Anyways, happy 250th birthday, America. Enjoy it. All right, let's jump right in. 5-tire rotation on the whiteboard. First thing is going to be, you want to rotate your tires every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, or, every normal oil change. Caveat, you don't want to be doing these new manufacturer recommended 10,000 mile oil changes. Don't do that. Anyways, I digress. Second is going to be, rounded fronts from turning, flat rear tires from not turning, or just kind of uneven wear in general from maybe worn out ball joints or a bad alignment, tie rods, wheel bearings, whatever, to give you kind of an uneven wear or cupping, or just kind of not even wear, 3, tires are expensive, especially when you start getting into big off-road tires. Like, for instance, I think this set of Toyos for 5 was right around $2,000, maybe a little less. Next, with having a 5th spare to rotate in, you're going to get 20% longer tire life. It's just it's basic math, Next, dry rot. So with your 5th tire never being rotated in and either just sitting underneath your vehicle, on the back of it on a tire swing, up on top of the rack, wherever you leave it, if you never rotate that 5th tire in, you could potentially run into some dry rotting issues with it just sitting in the sun, sitting underneath your vehicle, and never being used. And that might not happen on your first set of tires, but let's say you go and you buy another set or another set, and you continuously leave that fifth spare just sitting there, you're going to run into some dry rotting issues and some cracking issues that could potentially make the tire fail if you ever needed it, right? Next, could potentially mess up the drivetrain on your vehicle. This is kind of a worst case scenario that could happen. You could, again, worst case scenario, mess up differentials with tires that have significantly different amounts of tread. Your ABS system might not like it. Just kind of stuff like that. Next, if you throw that fifth tire on that has full tread, and let's say you have maybe half tread, quarter tread on your other tire on the same axle, right? What's going to happen is it's going to wear down that fresh 100% tire much faster to almost catch up, we'll say, with the tire with less tread on the other side of the axle. And last but certainly not least, having a full-size spare with you, I mean, really, it's a good insurance policy, tire plugs, glue tread, they're great. You should carry them. I do. But if you completely shred your sidewall, shred the tread, bend or break a wheel, you're stuck. If you don't have another full-size spare you can take off and throw on there instead. Back to the whiteboard. Here are some tire rotation patterns, and we're going to talk about them. Okay, so before I get into it, this is for rear-wheel drive, four-wheel drive vehicles. We're not talking about directional tires or front-wheel drive cars or any of that. This is for us. So, regular four-tire rotation, right? Take the rears, run them to the front, and then take the front tires, cross them to the back. That would be kind of a normal four-tire rotation, right? Okay, so normal five-tire rotation is going to be spare to passenger rear to passenger front, cross over to driver rear to driver front, and then driver front back to your spare location. And then there is the clockwise method, which is the way I do, kind of just for simplicity, which, some of you guys might not like this way, but this is the way I personally do it, which is going to be spare to passenger rear to driver rear to driver front to passenger front back to spare. And that's just the way I like to do it. While we have this up here, another controversial, we'll say, in the tire world view I have on these is I want the tires with the most tread on the rear as opposed to the front, like most tire shops or, most folks would say. The reason being is, so this Lexus is an all-wheel drive, full-time four-wheel drive, whatever you want to call it. But the factory, I guess, power output of the drive axles would be 60 rear, 40 front. So I'm pulling more with the rears per se, right? I want my tires with the most tread on the back because they're going to be making the most traction, we'll say. And the other reason is if I have a blowout, let's say, I would almost rather have the blowout or the loss of traction, right, in the fronts, because with the steering wheel I still have some control over where those tires are pointed. The other thing is there's an old maybe Michelin tire video, I think, that shows the difference between putting good tread on the rears as opposed to the front, and how it makes it much easier to hydroplane in wet conditions if you have the lower tread on the back as opposed to the front. You know, then that was regardless of rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, whatever. Good video. Go check it out. Okay, let's get this thing opened up. And get in here and get what we need. Need jack, handle, 1/2-inch impact, and my lug nut key adapter, whatever you want to call that thing, and my 19. You want to make sure that you don't lose your lug nut key adapter, whatever it is, because a regular socket isn't going to fit these Gorilla lug nuts, and really they don't fit very well down into these Method wheels. So make sure you have that. Lug nuts are off. Let's get this heavy tire off of here. Got the tire off. Now we're going to jack this thing up. I really like these big bottle jacks, as you know, obviously the factory jack sucks to begin with, and especially when you have, you know, lift kits and bigger tires and stuff. Obviously don't like high lifts. They have their place, but changing tires isn't really one of them. I like the Harbor Freight and Pro Eagle off-road jacks, but I've blown the seals in my Pro Eagle twice now, so I think we're going to stick with a good old kind of off-road oriented bottle jack. The reason I like this one, it has a nice big base plate on it, has a couple of these different little pieces you can put in here, extensions and whatnot, so you can really get in here and get this thing up and feel better about it not falling off. So I'm gonna get this jacked up. One thing I forgot, when you're jacking it up, you want to make sure you're going to something solid. So for instance, in the back, you want to go to the rear axle. You don't want to go to any kind of like body panel or anything that's gonna crush as soon as you start trying to lift the vehicle. Tire off the ground. What I'm going to do is take the spare and actually set it underneath here in case this vehicle falls off the jack. You kind of have a little insurance policy, so it'll land on this and maybe not you. So I've got a 1/2-inch impact, but if you were doing this with a tire iron or something, you would need to actually break these loose with the tire still on the ground, or else this tire is just going to spin while you're trying to break it loose. All the lug nuts are off. Pull this tire off. So while you got the back off, now's a good time to just kind of check things out, you know. Check your brake rotors in the back, bump stops, take a look at your shocks, your springs, you know, all the things. Just take a look at it. Slapping this new tire on, I like to sit on the ground and pick up the weight with my feet, and then it makes it easier to get the lugs lined up. Then we're just going to get in here and get all these finger tight. All right, we're all finger tight. Now what we're going to do is going to go in a star pattern, get these snugged up, and we're going to do the other star. Now that we did both our star patterns, we're going to go in a circle and make sure we didn't miss anything or anything not get tightened all the way. So if we were going to do this the absolute correct way, what we would do is now go in here with a torque wrench and click, 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 all of them, right? I'm not going to do that. Anyways, you should come back and check these again after maybe 50 to 100 miles or so to make sure all of these are still tight and haven't come loose. Coming around to the front, I like to go underneath the lower control arms if you have an IFS vehicle, because you're compressing the suspension up and you don't have to put the jack up as high to compensate for the droop of your suspension. While you're up here, before you pop any of the lugs off, now is a good time to kind of check out some of your front suspension components. So moving the tire side to side to check your tie rods, up and down to check your ball joints, and then just kind of all around to check your wheel bearings. So okay, tire off. While we got this off, again, some things we can check. Brake pads, rotors, checking your tie rods, shocks, ball joints, upper control arms, bushings, bump stops, CV axles, just kind of everything a once over. Brake lines, ABS lines, you know, all the things. And there we have it, 5-tire rotation. If you liked what you saw today, go ahead and give me a like and a subscribe. And if you didn't, well, that's kind of valid. Be sure to leave down in the comments everything I did wrong, said was wrong, or how I'm stupid, whatever. Anyways, that's it for this one. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next one. I want to wish you all a very happy 4th of July, America 250.